Hey guys, so we're going to talk about different species of tortoises that you can get as pets. Some of the pros and cons about certain species. Here are some of the smaller ones. We have some larger ones to show later that will kind of discourage you from getting, but also you can still get those, so do it responsibly. In front of us we have a couple red-footed tortoises, and then we also have a Russian tortoise.
So this is the Russian tortoise.
And his name is Lucky. When it comes to having a tortoise as a pet, in my opinion, and this is coming from a rescue background, that I never recommend getting a tortoise of any kind as a pet, especially for kids, because they have an incredibly long lifespan. These guys here, even the small ones can live 40, 50 years or more, depending on how they're being looked after. And your larger ones can live up to 100 or more. So not the best pet to get. They do have very specific food requirements and care requirements. Now, if we look at the two different shells on the Redfoots here, we've got a smooth shell and we've got lumpy shells here. Most people think the lumpy shell is the shell they're supposed to have and the healthy shell, because that's what we have more of. We actually have more tortoises with the lumpy shells than we do the smooth shells. And what that tells us basically is people don't really know how to look after the tortoises properly, because the lumps in the shells are actually a deformity in the shell, which means they haven't been taken care of properly when they were younger, whether it be nutrition or lighting or just a variety of things that come together that cause the deformations. Now, a couple of the main deformations we see, this one here, we see the lumps on the top of the shell there. That's what we call pyramiding. A lot of that is attributed to having too much protein in the diet. Basically, the keratin just starts growing too thick. Now, with redfoot tortoises, like these guys here, they love fruit, they like leafy greens, things like that, but they also eat carrion in the wild. Raina, what is carrion?
Carrion is...
I don't think she remembers.
I don't even know what carrion is.
Carrion is rotting meat. So basically, if an animal dies in the wild, let's say there's a rat or something dies on the ground, these guys will actually go up and eat the meat from the rat. So they do eat dead animals. And a lot of people see that as a reason to feed them dog food and cat food all the time because they love it, but it's not always the best thing for them. Just because your animal likes to eat something doesn't mean you should give it to them all the time. And when they have too much of that, like these little ones we're getting, you start getting the deformations there. Now that one's bad, we don't want to see it, but there are deformations that are worse, such as this one here, with the strawberry hanging out of your mouth. So if you look on this one here, it's actually got a dent in its shell right there. That dent is actually its spine, because this one here didn't have proper UV lighting when it was younger, wasn't getting enough calcium, D3, things like that. So its bones didn't actually grow properly. This one came in, it looks like it's dead, I was hanging there. This one came in with another one in 2013. And the one that came in with this one went right to the vet. It stayed there for a week and it was put down because they were so far gone from lack of proper nutrition and everything. When we got this one, it could barely move its legs. It would kind of hobble around. We were almost to the point of maybe putting this one down, and then it started making a good turnaround. Now she's doing great. But it just goes to show that you've got to do your research. That's the biggest thing. Whenever you get any type of animal, you have to do your research so you know how to look after them properly. So things like this don't happen. Lucky, the Russian tortoise, pretty much full grown. Russian tortoises are a smaller tortoise. Again, this one came in, medical issues. Raina actually saved this one's life. She does medication every day for a month. She was in there taking care of this one. So a much better option for a tortoise, but still not a good pet because they live too long.
And if you're getting a Russian tortoise, don't get a whole bunch of them, put them in one cage, because they will bully each other non-stop.
Yes, Russian tortoises are kind of bullies to other Russian tortoises sometimes, so sometimes it's best to keep those guys separate. Let me just climb. They have no respect for each other. Just climb over each other, trying to get strawberries.
They're pretty cute. They're very tempting to get as pets, especially when you get them like so small from the pet store or wherever you get them. But they're huge commitments and they get very large. I mean, some of them stay relatively small, but they require an immense amount of space. Hey guys. These are dangerous pets. They absolutely ferocious. The beaks on these guys.
Let's go over your arm. All right, so now we're in our Sultana Tortoise enclosure. Just trying to eat my hand. Now, Sultana tortoises are the third largest tortoise in the world. Not quite as big as the Galapagos tortoises, but they still get out to about 200 pounds, which is double the size of this guy here. He's just over 100 pounds. Never a good pet, in my opinion, these guys here, because of their massive size and their lifespan. They're very, very strong animals. Very strong animals. A lot of people think they can get these guys and just have them running loose in your house. You can't do that.
They'll destroy destroy everything.
Exactly. They're very destructive, very strong animals. Now again, we also look on here, we can see they've got the lumps and bumps on the shells. Tank has it the worst. And again, that is the pyramiding we were talking about with the other ones. Now these guys here, their diet should primarily consist of grass and hay, but most people give them a lot of leafy greens, lots of fruits, things like that. And again, we start getting the deformed shells. They get bananas in here every once in a while as a treat, but their main diet is actually grass. We cut grass for them every morning and that's what they eat. In the wintertime, we can't get grass. We give them hay mixed in with leafy greens, but it is majority hay. One thing people don't realize with tortoises and turtles, Raina, what is their shell made out of? Were you going to catch them?
No.
Were you going to catch the 100-pound tortoise as it went down?
Dad, just trying to help them.
So Raina, what is the tortoise's shell made out of?
Keratin. So it's basically your fingernails and your hair.
Very good, but that is just the top layer of the shell. What's underneath the keratin?
It is spine going down the back and then ribs coming out the side.
There we go. So the shell is their spine and ribs, goes all the way around their entire body. Now, what a lot of people don't realize too is that in between the keratin and the bone, there are blood vessels and nerves running through the entire shell, which means when you touch the tortoises, they actually do feel it. Every once in a while, we can give one a back scratch in here, and they will wiggle their butts. No, they're too interested in the food right now. Yeah, just they do have a lot of blood vessels and nerves, so it's just not a good idea to like knock on their shell or pound on the shell, things like that. We have gotten these guys in. I actually showed you the video of that when we got in, where it actually had holes drilled in the shell and a handle installed onto its shell.
That's horrible.
So I know we shouldn't have to say things like this, but don't drill holes into your pets, okay? It's just not a good idea. Oh, you want to see how bad a tortoise bite is? Watch this. Okay, I'm gonna sacrifice myself. Oh, got my hand. There's nothing. Not even a mark.
Yeah,
So it is kind of a wimpy little bite. I know it's no, not you. Oh yeah. So Janet does this thing where
It's trying to murder
we
me.
got it. There we go.
These are so dangerous.
So Janet does this thing. She's the only one here that does it. She will actually come up to you and she puts her head in her shell and she rams you and tries to knock you over, which is what we just saw there. These guys don't do that, but Janet is a little bit of a mean one that way where she will actually try to knock you over. Now, when they fight, if you look under here, put your head in for a second.
You're lucky.
Head in or up. See those big hooks there? Those are what they use for fighting. So when a tortoise fights another tortoise, they put their head into their shell, they use those hooks, and they try to basically push and flip the other tortoise over. Once a tortoise like this is upside down, the bigger tortoises can't usually flip themselves back over. And the big problem there is that their lungs run along the top of the inside of the shell. When they're upside down, all their organs push on the lungs and they can't breathe in again very well. So eventually they could suffocate by being on their backs. Luckily, if that happens in here, we're here flipping back over. It doesn't happen very often, but every once in a while, Tank is a little bully and he'll try to flip the other ones over.
Well, he used to be the bully.
Yeah, Tor used to be the bully. So we got Tor, Tank, Turbo, and Janet. So Emily's gonna pick this one up. This is about 70 pounds right here for this one. There we go.
Bye guys. Thank you for
just ripped my
watching.
shoes.
Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Be sure to check out Wild Education on Facebook, Instagram, and be sure to check out their website to book your own show. To probably not be able to do this, but you can pet them and feed them bananas.
Bye.
Okay, bye guys.
Oh no, Lucky's not taking it.
He's nervous. He's a little nervous.
Yeah, it's not gonna grab a,